I played Dead Island 2. It's a strange thing to say. 2022 was first announced in 2014 with the now infamous trailer that featured a zombified racer. We've seen next to nothing of the game since the almost decade-long radio silence. Probably most people believed Dead Island 2 was dead. Until now. I've played Dead Island 2. For a full 20 minutes. It's real. It's really scheduled to be released in the next 2 years. And despite its long absence, it's still what it was originally intended to be. A co-op open-world sequel set in California, following the well-received but somewhat crappy original from Techlandy's new version of Dead Island 2 is being developed by Dam Buster Studios, the folks behind Homefront: The Revolution. It's the third developer to work on the game, and despite starting completely from scratch, what I played looks pretty similar to the gameplay of the original 2014 version, but with a few modern upgrades set in a bright and bizarre Los Angeles, to which Dan Buster has nicknamed Hell the Playground, and brutally bloody hand-to-hand combat are once again the focus. Flesh is slashed, guts spill out and limbs fly from bodies, flames char the skin and melt the muscles, leaving only blackened skeletons. Behind you can even tear the undead apart with your bare hands, thanks to Fury Mode, and ultimate kindness fueled by the zombie infection that slowly courses through your veins as the story progresses. The gory is all well and good, but the combat leading up to that bloodshed needs to be just as good in the demo. I found that Dead Island 2 has some good ideas that drive the fights. The combat system encourages constant movement, dodging, kicks and jumps are integral parts. Throwing weapons known as curveballs, such as grenades, shurikens and bait bombs, can also be woven into the usual whirlwind of blows and punches. The ability to dodge a grab and then immediately hurl the Molotov in rapid succession is a pretty fun rhythm, and the fact that Dead Island 2 seems to maintain this rhythm impressed me. Although there is an endurance system that is incredibly generous, in addition to these basics there is a dynamic elemental system that feels like an evolution of the spreading fire of the 2014 version. Oil can be ignited with flames and water can extinguish those flames, but water also conducts electricity and turns harmless puddles into death traps. When combined with a battery, an impressive variety of zombie types contributes to the fact that among the colorful hordes there are also corpses with gas canisters and water bottles that you just have to target to add elemental fun to the fight. These elemental features are also found in the weapons, which, as the DNA of the series dictates, can be upgraded at workbenches with a variety of crazy add-ons, such as a fire axe that can be equipped with flares that scorch the flesh with each blow, or a pair of Wolverine-like claws that can be charged with electricity to stun enemies. None of what I saw in my sample inventory would have felt out of place in the original Dead Island, which rejected gritty realism in favor of over-the-top chaos. It's obvious that Dead Island 2 isn't just alive, but also kicking. While it may have risen from the grave, it still has a lot to prove. Dam Buster made a solid first impression, but it comes paired with a distinct sense of familiarity. Dead Island 2 seems to have a huge amount in common, not only with the original Dead Island, but also with its step-sibling Dying Light. Even at this early stage I already feel like I've played it all before: the bloody combat, the strange weapons, the craft, the strange humor. After one Dead Island game, one expansion and 2 Dying Lights, it all feels a bit like parts of the same corpse. So is Dead Island 2 just The Walking Dead, or will it be something truly surprising? The streets of Hella will provide the answer. There's so much I haven't seen yet. How varied is the mission design? How good are the jokes? All of this will determine whether Dan Buster's efforts are bloody fun or just a sequel a decade too late.